Hey guys, it's me, Carmen Hope Thomas from Thomas Family Travels. Thank you so much for joining me, my husband Jason, and the boys Jai and Jalan on all of our family trips. For those who don't know me, we travel, my husband and I and my boys, all over the world. Sometimes we travel together as a family. Other times my husband and I go our way and the boys go their way. However it works out, we record it, we share it, and we love it when you come travel with us. First of all, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to like and subscribe and share this video with as many friends and family as you can. Because the more you travel with us, the more we can travel and show you places you probably wanted to go and not had an opportunity. So you can come travel with us. And then when you get your chance to go, you'll have some insight as to what these places are like. 2023 promises to be a very busy year, so buckle up, let's go. Our first trip is Ghana. I'd like to say that this trip was not emotional, but it was. As we stood on the shores of the Atlantic, peering out over those waters, we realized that our ancestors made their journey to the Americas most likely from these shores. And as we stood there and we looked out over those waters, our guide, he poured libations and prayed in the native Ashanti tongue for our ancestors. It was emotional. Then we were off to the Elmina Castle, where we learned so much about our history, so much about the enslaved Africans who went through these doors and through the door of no return.
So at one time, this castle held approximately 1,000 slaves. The governor of the castle was on top of everybody. The middle one for the assistant governor, and the rest of the rooms were for soldiers. We have missionaries, and this side for the merchants.
I must admit, listening to this guide kind of gave me a feeling of wow, because there were so many stories I could imagine that were not told of the people who came through here. I especially didn't realize that many Ghanaian kings and chiefs refused the will of the Europeans and were jailed because of it. Those are stories that are never told to us in history in the United States and in the Caribbean. And that was a history that I needed to make amends with all of this that happened. We need to go to Africa and hear these stories from Africans to know the truth about what happened.
They converted the towers into prisons. So British captured a very powerful Ghanaian king from Ashanti region. The name of the king is Prempeh I. Prempeh was captured by the British in 1896. The king was imprisoned in this one for 4 years. From here, he was sent to Freetown in Sierra Leone for 1 year and later exiled to Seychelles Island across the Indian Ocean because he resisted British rule. The same British also captured a queen mother, a woman, very brave woman. She led people to fight the British. The name is Ya Asantua. The woman was also imprisoned in the other one for 1 year, and later she was also exiled to Seychelles Island across the Indian Ocean.
As we started to move around the castle, especially when we went inside, there was a hovering stench to the place. It didn't stink, but you could tell people had died there. It wasn't unbearable. It didn't rest on your nostrils. Maybe it was just the very presence or the spirit of those who had gone on before that I just couldn't shake.
400 of them were also here. They were in the ladies. And this is a cannonball they used to punish the female slaves. This ball. There were 8 of such balls here with chains connected. That's why you can see there's a hole on top of it. And when the Europeans came, according to the history, only the men came here without their wives. So some of them were raping the women. So those who refused to be raped, those who tried to escape, and those who were fighting the masters to be released were brought here. And the person will be chained to the balls. So for the women, punishment came in the form of public humiliation. The person stands here whether there is rain or sunshine. In that period, no food, no water. When they see that you are very weak, and then you'll be released. And they did that just to break the spirit of the rest of the women down. So anytime you are called to do something, quickly you have to obey. So that is the purpose of this. Let's continue.
Okay, walking in this room was tough. Just being in here knowing that over 400 African women and girls were in this room, naked, menstruating, using the bathroom. It was tough. It was very difficult for me because you felt them there. You really did. And I really struggled with it. But hearing the history was necessary.
Now, the clothes that you see on the floor, there was a program here. It was held on 3rd July 2015. The title for the program is The Return of the Slaves. Many people came here, some from the States, some from Canada, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Togo, so many places. They slept in this dungeon for one night just to have a feel of how the slaves felt when they were here. So this is what they used to cover themselves. Even we left here, the next day when we came, security told us that after the program, some of them fell sick and then they were rushed to the hospital. So you can picture how it was when the actual thing was going on. Now, as I said, upon all these things that they were doing, some of them were Christians. That's why I told you there are two churches here. The one I showed you first, the Portuguese church, they were Catholics. When the Dutch took over, they were not Catholics, they were Protestants. So they built their own church, ironically, on top of this dungeon. So they were worshiping God up. Human beings were down, crying for help. Any question? Let's continue.
He then showed us where they herded the women through this little opening towards the door of no return. And by this time, I felt like I had to see it. I had to know. We walked to the next area and went through these very small passageways to get to the door of no return.
One of the dungeons for the male slaves, but when you look at the floor, it is not as original as you saw there. This one has been converted. The small room that you see at the back there, that was where they kept branding irons. But the male slaves were branded. And the branding irons had the initials on top. So we have initials like ITA, meaning International Trading Association. We have some like JSS, John Smith Slave. So they have to put that side in fire, very hot. When removed, to touch either your chest, your arms, or your back. So the marks will be there for easy identification. Now, the reason why they started transporting the Africans was that human labor were needed for plantations in America and even Caribbean. And according to the history, the Americans started using the native Indians. Some even call them the Red Indians, but they said they were not strong enough, some of them were dying. So many people suggested that they should try the Africans and see whether it would work. There was a priest. The name of the priest is Bartholomew de las Casas. He was a priest, Roman Catholic priest. He was notable among those who suggested, and indeed they captured some Africans. These Africans were sent to Hispaniola. Today we call the place Haiti or Dominican Republic. And they saw that they were able to work. They resisted all kinds of weather. And they were also experts in agriculture. So since that time, the demand of the Africans became more and more. Any questions? Now, because a lot of them died, visitors laid wreaths that you see at the corners of the floor to remember those who died in the dungeons, as well as those who also died at sea. So what they're saying is that those people may their souls rest in perfect. You can see Shina bottles. Some of the African Americans and those from Caribbean and even the Africans do not believe in the Christian religion. So when they come here, they also pour libation to seek protection and prosperity from our ancestors. That's why you can see all these things. Fihankra. And Fihankra simply suggests when the slaves were going, they never had the opportunity to say goodbye. And after they went to America for a meeting, when they came, they brought a flag. And that flag, it's a mission statement of the whole tour of the castle. And the flag reads, "In the everlasting memory of the anguish of our ancestors, may those who die rest in peace. May those who return find their roots. May humanity never again perpetrate such injustice against humanity. We, the living, vow to uphold this. We, the living, vow to uphold this." So I think as we walk out the castle, we all carry a lot of responsibilities.
Listen, it's all still standing. All of these buildings, the history, it's all still here. Make your way to Elmina Castle in Ghana.